Welcome to The Rest is Giant Robots, a conversation through the careers of writer Simon Furman and artist Andrew Wildman. Recollections and revelations about the highs and the lows as creatives in comics, books, games, film and TV. Welcome to The Rest is Giant Robots, episode number 37. I'm Andrew Wildman.
And I'm Simon Furman. And we're going to be taking a little look back at 2025 because at time of recording, we're in Twixtmas, I suppose. That bit between Christmas and, yes, twits at Christmas. And we're going to take a little look back at 2025 and maybe a look forward to 2026. Highlights and, even lowlights, I guess.
Yeah. Simon sprung this one on me. I did that.
Simon put it in a message. You just didn't read the message. Yes.
Oh no. Yeah, that's the more likely situation. Which I probably did read, and then one thing led to another. So so I did some stuff this year, and I can't remember, but it'll probably come back to me while we're talking.
It will. Well, I'll start off going, and I in no particular order. I think one of the biggest sort of, well, no, there's a few, but obviously some of that is Rest is Giant Robots centric. So I think I'll start with that. We did a couple of special episodes, and I think the first one to mention is when we had Ian Rimmer on as our first guest. And, that's something we're going to do more of in 2026. We have a couple of people lined up, just trying to align our schedules with theirs. And it was just really nice to have Ian, who, I don't think we've seen interviewed that many times about Marvel UK and Transformers. And he's just an all-round lovely chap. So it sort of got our occasional guest slot off to a great start, I thought.
Yeah, he was really good. I'd never met Ian before, but obviously I knew who he was and I knew his work and kind of worked with him, but not with him, just because we're all involved in the old days. But yeah, he was good value. He had lots of good stories and just a really nice light demeanor, which is what you want in a guest, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, we've got more of that to come. We've got a couple of guests lined up for probably it might be a few podcasts on just because again, we both need to be in our proper spaces to do a guest one, really.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm back home because it's Christmas or big Twixtmas or
Mhm.
somebody came out with a really good name for it on that. I was listening to a podcast. I can't for like. Why did I mention that? Because I can't remember what it was. But anyway, this time in between. But yeah, as of Monday, I'll be back on the film, so I shall
Mm.
be away again. But there we go.
Yeah.
That's how that goes.
So, the other Rest is Giant Robots, big one for me was doing our record live at TF Nation
Yeah,
in August, which was great fun and worked surprisingly well considering we were just, oh God, this
yeah.
could go horribly wrong. But it was great fun, lovely to do it in front of a live audience and have
Yeah,
reaction, and
yeah,
laughter and the occasional heckling, which was great.
yeah.
Just really enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that if something is going the kind of thing that does go wrong in events like that is usually technically, tech based. And I
Mm,
think we had that, did the theme music chat that was going to play and we are going to do the intro and all that kind of stuff. And I
yeah.
don't think that went according to plan, but that's kind of okay. It's a blessing in a way when stuff like that goes wrong because it immediately, if you handle it right, it immediately relaxes the space between,
Mm,
yourselves and the audience. I mean, I've done a lot of public speaking and gigs with a band and all that kind of thing. So I'm kind of used used to that. So I kind of relish the chaos
Yeah, I
because
mean
then
that's part.
everybody has a good time, don't they? Have good fun, you
Oh,
know.
it's part of it, and it actually then has a live feel to it, even though, people would watch the recording. It felt very much this is as spontaneous as it gets.
Yeah. The one thing that I was slightly worried about in terms of the technical side of it was whether they had set it up so that they would record the ambient sound so that, we would hear the people in the room because we were being recorded. We knew that, and there would probably be a microphone for everybody asking questions, but it's just that general kind of ambient sound when people are laughing or heckling or
Yeah.
whatever. But they did, so that was a real relief.
Hmm.
But I thought it went very well. I'd like to think that Billy will ask us to do another one
Yeah, that would be great
in this
fun.
coming year.
Yeah, hopefully we'll both be there. So yeah, it'd be great to do it again, just because
Yeah,
it worked really well.
yeah, it did. Yeah, yeah, that was one of the highlights of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah,
really was,
that
and it
was
was a
I'd forgotten about that.
really good TF Nation as well. Fast and furious it was for the two
Mm.
days or so of it. But yeah, really good fun, and yeah, that was particularly good to do.
Yeah, I think the general feeling after, well, towards the end of the weekend and then afterwards from people was that that was arguably the best one ever. There was
Mm,
there was something about the mood in the room for the weekend, just the general vibe. I thought was
yeah.
the previous year was kind of similar, but just really chaotic. There was something, I don't know, that just felt a
Mm.
bit too much about it. But this one, maybe because people knew that generally as a convention, it's a lot busier than it used to be. But they kind of leaned into that a bit, and I think
Mm.
it was a good vibe because they're a good crowd. These TF Nation
Oh
goers, they're
yeah.
they're all great people. They're all there with a combined sense of purpose, and I think that makes it feel good.
Yeah, it's a very friendly, sociable space, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
good. But yeah, so that excuse me, that was fun. And one of the other things I was trying to find the things that involve both of us from the air. And of course, the other one was the Skybound Kickstarter for the compendiums that we were both
oh yeah,
involved in. So
yes,
yeah, that
yeah.
was that was in the early part of this year. I had to kind of check back to make sure it what did happen in 2025, but it did. So yeah, and I've now seen on my social media that people are starting to receive those compendiums that they
Okay.
they pre-ordered. So, that's great to see. And
Hmm.
the compendiums I've seen, not the Kickstarter ones, but the general mass market ones, they're amazing chunky books, and it's great to see those come out. And it was great to be involved, very
Yeah.
much involved with the Kickstarter itself.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It was an amazing thing that they did really just to fully embrace what was possible with Kickstarter
Mm,
for something like that because you can very easily gauge the reaction um and then you can do those kind of milestones. I can't remember what they call them, but those
yeah,
stretch. You can do
the
those stretch
stretch
goal
goals.
things where
Yeah.
they just keep on adding content. So it just kind of builds a frenetic kind of anticipation,
Mm.
and then just ongoing provides more and more content for people, which is
Yeah.
good. So yeah, well done them for such a successful campaign.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
really good. And it's just being involved with the live day to day of it. I did one of those Reddit AMAs, ask me anythings, and
yeah,
various little bits of those stretch goals. Obviously you were doing lots of artwork for those, and
yeah,
I had my own little tech spec card, which was fun.
yeah. which made an appearance at the TF Nation Live podcast.
It did, yes. Indeed. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was really fun as well, and like I say, it's great that that old material is still, you know, finding a new audience or the same audience who are going, okay, I'll have another edition of that.
Yeah. I think the stuff that you've done and like my relatively small part of that, original Marvel stuff, but has had more re-releases than probably any other thing in history.
Yes. Oh, wow. There's so many editions now of that
Yeah.
material from those original Titan collections back
Mm,
in the early 2000s. There's now, been many collected editions from IDW, from Skybound, more from Titan, so there have been, yeah, many collections, but yeah, there'll be more, I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure they will. They're classics. Yeah. Whoever did
Yeah.
those, yeah, created a classic. Yeah.
So
What
what
else you got
else?
then? What
What
else
else have
came
I
up?
got? Oh, Battersea Power Station. That is another one high up on my
Mm,
list, which was great because we got to create a new Titan-sized transformer for uniquely for Battersea Power Station.
mm,
So, story was provided for that. And then we got to do a live launch event in the store, which was absolutely fabulous. And again, really well attended and a busy, buzzy day with Frederick Famchung and Pai Pa, the artists
yeah.
involved in the first two parts.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really, really good day. And nice to be part of something unique and British again because it's been a while since we kind of had something home created.
Yes, yeah. It's such a great combination as well. Battersea Power Station. It's like,
Mhm.
who'd have thought? It's just, I mean, it was like, what? Yeah. But then when you see it, it's just like, well, that's really good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
And
that
yeah,
idea. I mean, I don't know what happens with like because Battersea Power Station, like any building, is not just like a thing on the ground, is it? I mean, I'm
no.
sure it's got foundations and all sorts of utilities underneath. I don't quite know how all of that works. But
Well,
you don't have to
yeah,
overthink these things, do you?
yeah. We do set the story in the period where Battersea Power Station was a derelict building. So, it's not how is a whole shopping centre getting up and walking around or
No,
a whole power station. So, yeah, we tried to rationalize it as much as is possible with these things. But
I haven't read it. So is the Transformer? Remind me of his name.
Powerplex.
Powerplex, of course. Yeah, perfect. So is it a transformer made of brick? I mean, was this a transformer that then disguised itself to look like brick or
It,
what?
it is a disguise. Yeah, there are robots in disguise, and yeah,
Yeah.
we kind of spin it that the real power station is displaced in some way, dimensionally or time wise, and the transformer takes on its appearance in a
Okay.
brick-like way. But it's not real brick
In
because
a brick like that. Yeah.
yes,
Because that would be stupid. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, crazy. No one would believe that. But so anyway, yeah, so yeah, that was really nice. And it also introduced me to this concept of Transformers Day. Who knew there was a Transformers Day? But the 17th of September is apparently Transformers Day. So there you
Has that
go.
always been Transformers Day? I mean, when did
I
that?
think it's a very recent thing. I mean, I think the rationale is it's when the first episode of the cartoon series aired in the
Right.
States.
Okay.
I think that's where the date comes from. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that I think is the rough milestone that makes it the 17th of the ninth or 9/17 for Americans.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I just thought, okay, well, that's something else we can sort of utilize in some way next year, hopefully, or in 2026.
There'll be all sorts of conspiracy theorists coming up with what does 917 mean or stand for.
Yeah,
That's going to be a thing,
yes.
isn't it?
So yeah, that was
Yeah.
real. That was a really good day, and yeah, I mean, I was trying to think. The other thing I kind of did a little trawl back because I thought, well, I didn't really do any sort of self-publishing stuff in 2025, and actually I
Hmm.
was wrong. Because we've been talking about that in the last couple of podcasts. I thought, yeah, it's weird. I haven't really done any self-publishing, but actually, two things happened in 2025. The Diamond exclusive edition of 5 Points came out, so it was actually
Oh, right.
properly in comic book stores, and I signed some when I was in FP Bristol. So that was kind of
It's
nice
gone,
to see.
you've gone crackly, Simon.
Oh,
You've
okay,
gone crackly.
try again. Okay, let's give it a few moments. See
Yeah.
if it comes back in normal.
Yeah, it seems to be all right already. Yeah.
It seems to be it
So
needs unplugging and plugging in again for some reason.
maybe it just goes, ugh.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you've talked too much, Furman.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go back.
It was a diamond.
Yes.
Diamond you were talking about.
So yeah, one of those was the diamond edition of 5 Points. So it was
Hmm.
great that it was actually in comic book stores, and I got to sign some while I was in FP Bristol doing a Skull Island signing. And that
Right.
made it feel very real that it was in comic stores rather than just at conventions or via Amazon. So that was
Yeah.
fun. And
Yeah.
also, um, Adrian did a sort of collected a pack of To the Death that went out through TJ Jones, I think it is, the WH Smiths.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It was Smith and now it's Smith and now it's
now it's
Jones. I
Jones,
think it's
yes.
hilarious.
So yes, so To the Death got another airing and will continue to do so because I think it was the first four issues in a pack, and then the subsequent ones will be whatever the next three and the next three to make the 10.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
how about you?
Yeah, that's
Self-publishing stuff in 2025?
so yeah, so I said I didn't remember anything. So I did what you said you did was look back at your social media. So I brought up my brought up my Instagram account, just scrolled back. Unfortunately, I don't have to scroll back very far until we hit last Christmas. So, but there is some stuff in there. So yes, in terms of self-publishing, um, earlier in the year, I haven't looked at the date here, but I chopped up and over time uploaded Horizon to Webtoon. So Webtoon's a scrolling comics platform, Korean originally, I think it is. Um, which is Webtoon is absolutely awash with manga and romanticy, do they call it? This fantasy
Oh,
romance
okay.
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's just I the amount of content on there is just unbelievable. But there was one thing that caught my eye when I first looked at it. I was just basically researching how to get comics kind of online. What is there? I know there's Tapas and various things where you can scroll through
Mm.
comics. I bumped into Webtoons. So I was just looking at what their kind of content was, and I came across something called Stag Town, which was it was like a horror thing.
Mm.
It's not manga at all, um, which was just brilliant. It was so engrossing.
Mm.
And I thought, well, I'll chop my thing up and put it up on here. How it's done, I have absolutely no idea. It was just a bit of an experiment, really. Um, so that was interesting to. It was interesting for me to revisit Horizon anyway
Mm.
because I literally had to go through every page and chop it up and make it fit. So I was reading the whole thing. I did make some changes, some very slight additions to make the narrative work on that, in that format. So that was kind of fun. Um, the other thing in terms of what stuff that I was doing that's not my day job, if you like, um, was the GI Joe sketchbook
Okay.
campaign. So this is the thing where, like the Transformers sketchbook, which many people have bought over the few years since I did it, um, which was just a challenge I set myself on the Transformers one to draw, to do a sketch of every single Transformers that ever appeared in in the Marvel
Hmm.
universe. Um, I came up with a list. JP Bove came up with a list, and then I asked Bob Budiansky, and Bob Budiansky's list, which you would argue is
Yeah.
definitive, was, as he said, well, no, there's more than that. So he came up with this monster list
Wow.
of characters, which I then put out there on. Well, I can't remember what platform I was on there. I think it was on Patreon actually.
Hmm.
Um, on Patreon, and I had, so the number of people signed up as a monthly contribution, to buy a sketch essentially, which allowed me to then collect enough to publish it as a
Mm.
sketchbook, and that's gone really well. It's been really, really popular, so I'm very happy about that. So I thought, well, I'll do the same thing with GI Joe, because for whatever reason I was getting contacted by a few people about doing GI Joe sketches,
Mm.
so that reminded me that yes, I used to do that too, didn't
Mm.
I? You know, and I did more issues of that than I did of Transformers back in the day.
Yep.
Um, so I set that up as a challenge, and that's going great.
Mm.
I mean, I managed to find bits of time in between here and there to do another sketch. That's something else that I'm doing while I'm Billy no mates in my hotel room of an evening while we're working on the movie.
Yeah.
Um, so that's going really well. I'd got a post on there of some of the illustrations that I did for the Transformers Kickstarter
Yep.
thing. Um, so that was kind of cool. More GI Joes. The big thing, looking back, the big thing in terms of my proper work as a storyboard artist before starting on Luther, which, as everybody knows, is listening to this,
Yes.
got its green light and is well and truly in production, and we're in the thick of it with that. So it's nice to have a little bit of time off. Um, so there were other jobs that I did before that, and the big one was relatively a very small amount of work that I did on Star City, which is kind of like it's not a sequel, it's a companion piece to For All
Okay.
Mankind, the Apple
Yep.
kind of pretend NASA story. So Star City is like from the Russian point of view. And it was being directed by Jamie Payne, or it was directed by some of it, directed by Jamie Payne, who's directing Luther,
Hmm.
who I've worked with on many shows.
Yeah.
When I was, we've just finished clearing out a lockup we had from when we moved house, and I'd got boxes and boxes of stuff which we moved in yesterday into my studio, which I'm gradually going through. And there's loads of my old storyboard work in there, and it's amazing how many shows I've done with Jamie now, starting from Doctor
Mm.
Who back in the day. Um, but Star City was amazing. And they already had a storyboard artist, but there were certain problems that they were coming up with. So Jamie said to the producers, "There's only one way to get us out of this this visual and logistical mess, because it's set in space. Like storyboarding something where there's no up or down
Hmm.
or whatever is it's a very difficult job." So Jamie said, "We need to fly Andrew Wildman out to Lithuania to the studio where we're filming it." And he did that. He
Mm.
got me on a plane, flew me out, put me up in a five-star hotel for 3 days.
Great.
And so I cracked into that and did some storyboarding, which I really, really enjoyed. Um, and I guess that'll be, I don't know when it's coming out. I guess it will be coming out early this coming year.
Mm.
Um, so that was a lot of fun. Um, I went to a Marillion concert by the looks of it.
Mm.
Always a
Yep.
treat.
Absolutely.
That would have been April or May time. Marillion, best band in the world. Do their biennial conventions. Check them out. What else I've got on Instagram? I've got a couple of conventions. I didn't do that many conventions. Obviously, I did TF Nation. I did Stars of Our Time in Swindon. that was quite a nice little convention. Not overly busy for me, but kind of fun to do. Um, the is Giant Robots podcast. That's a thing that I
Yeah.
do as well. Did you know that,
Yes.
Simon? I do that
No, I didn't
podcast.
know
Yeah.
that.
No,
That's
it's
uh,
actually going quite well, I think.
I'm not sure our listeners know that sometimes, but there you go.
Yeah. And then more and more G.I. Joe sketches. Oh, some Transformers commissions. I did some Transformers commissions as well, just private ones. That was good. Another convention. Don't know what that one is. Um, is there anything else coming out? Let me just have a quick look here.
Okay, well, I'll chatter while you look because
Yeah, do that.
I just want to mention a couple of things. Obviously, comics wise, I had Return to Skull Island coming out, which was really nice,
Yeah.
and Astrobots Volume 2, which has taken its time to appear, but lovely to see that coming out as well. And one of my other highlights was at London Film and Comic Con, I was given an award out of the
Oh,
blue.
oh, you were when I remember.
You
Yes.
were
Yeah,
there,
I
yeah.
was there.
I was inducted into London Film and Comic Con's Hall of Fame, and Tony
Yeah.
Lee appeared while we were doing our panel, and I was thinking, what's Tony doing standing there? And it was to present me with a little award, sort of which I was very chuffed about, especially
Hmm.
as it came so out of the blue and had
Hmm.
nothing to do with Transformers per se. It was for services to the comic book industry, which is rather nice.
And very well deserved as well.
Thank you, Andrew. So
I've
yeah,
never
that
I've never won anything.
yeah,
There might be
I
a
got
reason for that. I'm just not that good.
but that was very nice. And like I say, for being completely out of the blue, it was really exciting.
Yeah, yeah. And that was the same convention, the London Film and Comic Con, where that guy gave you a couple of Death's Head
Oh
models.
yeah, yeah. He gave me he gave me one to me and one to Jeff. These amazing 3D sculpts of Death's Head,
Yeah, they were
and
fantastic.
it was very nice. There was the usual Draw Death's Head day in March around my birthday,
Yeah.
which Alice still organises. So yeah, good to see Death's Head still in and around the public consciousness.
Yeah, yeah. So LFCC was a real ego massage for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm,
Really, really nice. I mean, and always good fun to be there
mm.
and hang out, and it was lovely to see Carrie, who I hadn't seen for a while.
Yes, child three. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, there was lots of good stuff there, and yeah, I think that's. I'm just trying to look at my little list here. I think that's most of it. If you've got anything great, otherwise, let's talk a little bit about the year to come.
Yeah. Well, as a bridging piece then, so Luther, as people know, I worked on storyboarded Luther season 5, which is the final season of Luther as a BBC TV series. Luther being Idris Elba as the main character. I'm sure everybody's seen it. Maybe Americans haven't. If you haven't, you need to. Um, and then I storyboarded the first movie because season 5, and then the first movie directed by Jamie Payne. The first movie starring Idris Elba, obviously, with the main antagonist being played by Andy Serkis. I remember going through Jamie showed me the kind of long list of potential people that were going to be cast for that role.
Mm.
And it was just really weird for it to end up with Andy Serkis. It was like, no, it wasn't even on the long list. Um, there was all sorts of different people on it.
Mm.
But but I think it was Idris that he'd got to know Andy Serkis really well, and so he kind of said, I think he should do it, and so everyone was like, okay, if Idris wants Andy Serkis, then Andy Serkis it shall be.
Yeah.
Um, and what was a real buzz for me was I managed to get myself in as an extra on the big Piccadilly shoot.
Mm.
And I met Idris and I met Andy on that night. It was a whole night shoot.
Yeah.
And I had a little chat with him, because the connection being not Luther, but the connection being that Andy had directed the second Venom movie,
Okay.
um, and he said that uh, visually, as inspiration, they used the four-issue Venom series that I did, Carnage Unleashed,
Mm,
and I was like, wow, that's really weird worlds colliding in the middle of Piccadilly
yeah.
Circus.
That's
um,
brilliant.
yeah, so that was kind of fun and just nice for him to say that. I mean, to
Mm,
chat anyway, but for him to to acknowledge that, I thought it was really good. And then I got a little credit at the end of the film with various other people that worked on Venom.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, so then after a long period of time where lots of conversations were going on in the background, because pretty much off the back of the first movie, myself um, and Jamie were already talking about the potential of the second movie, and he'd been talking to Idris and Neil Cross, the writer. Anyway, we finally got the green light, and so we're into production. We're on a 2 week hiatus, and so
Mm.
taking us into 2026, I will be continuing with that.
Yep. And, again, a sort of segue between the 2 years, I've had this film project, which I can't really talk about in detail, but has been bubbling along in the background. Myself and Mark Salisbury have written a screenplay, which is at least sort of trundling through the next stages. And we got a director, and the script is now with a casting agent. So things are moving. Things can
Nice.
stop, of course, but at the moment it's all very exciting and full of hope for 2026 in terms of we may actually be able to talk about this at some point
Yeah. Yeah.
and sort of fill in some of the details. But it's been very enjoyable and exciting and rewarding actually, having a film get this far, even if,
Yeah.
it never gets any further. It's been extremely exciting.
Yeah. Because the trouble is though that you've been talking about this, for a long time and suggesting, and it's all really interesting because it's all part of the lengthy process that it takes to
Mm,
get these things to move even forward, at all. So it's really interesting. The trouble is, as soon as it all gets a green light, you'll have to sign an NDA, so you won't be able to talk about any
that's
of it.
right. Yeah, I know. So it's all a shame that we can't yet talk about it, but at some point, if it proceeds, it will be announced, and then we can talk about it more.
Yeah.
But what I can talk about is um, Escape from Skull Island, which is the next chunk of my King Kong story, the first issue, the trade, a paperback of Return to Skull Island is out in January, and the
Nice.
first issue of Escape from Skull Island follows swiftly on from it. So that's really nice. Astrobots Volume 2 will come to an end in early 2026, but we hope because it's written and mostly drawn, Astrobots Volume 3 will not be far behind that. So that's also great to have rolling along. And games wise, it's funny, when I look back, 2025 started with a news item that said this Transformers game I'd been working on, Transformers Reactivate, had
Mm.
finally hit the buffers and wasn't going to come out, which
Yeah.
was a sort of downer. But since then I am now working on two new Transformers games, which again I should be able to talk about at some point soon.
Yeah.
And so it's great that it just rolls on, and Earth Wars rolls on, and next year there's various anniversaries this coming year, one of
Right.
which is Transformers Earth Wars hits its 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Target 2006 hits its 40th
40th.
anniversary. And
40th. Oh
yeah,
God.
and I believe Beast Wars
Yeah.
hits its 30th anniversary. So yeah, it's another year packed with sort of milestones, if you like.
Yeah. Incredible. Incredible that it's that amount of time. Cannot
Yeah.
believe it. No, I mean, I'm
And
digging through my studios with all these boxes and going, there's so much stuff here from my past, a lot of which I'm just chucking away. It's like,
mhm,
I did that. Oh God, yeah, I'll chuck that away.
yeah,
Loads of artwork. If anybody wants any, let me know. I might
I'm
be
sure
giving
they
it
would.
away.
I'm sure they would. And no doubt next year we will do our round of conventions. I've
Hmm.
got a few penciled in already. In fact, you're wearing your TF UK Con t-shirt. I'll be doing that in May. I'm doing RecCon, the Swedish convention, in April, and TF Minicon Manchester in March. So already,
Wow.
three lined up.
Wow. Yeah. I haven't got any lined up. I don't know. I'd like to do
No,
TF Nation, obviously, but it just seems to be a kind of becoming a regular thing. But I have no idea what I'm going to be doing this year. I mean,
mm,
Luther, I'm on it until they start filming in February. I'll still be on it a little bit during the 3 month shooting schedule. Then it will be in post, and everything. I won't have anything to do with it, but I'm hoping that something else will come up like it does. I've
mm.
just finished watching a series on Channel 4 called Summer Water. I did some storyboarding
Oh
on that,
yes.
so that was nice
Oh,
to
did
see
you?
that.
Oh, yeah, we watched that. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a real slow, but I mean that. So that was directed by Robbie McKillip, and I've worked with Robbie McKillip on quite a few different things,
Hmm.
and he's such a good director. Um, and then, I mean, I first worked with him on a thing called Our Zoo, and I worked with him on, oh, I can't remember, all sorts of things. And so he was doing that. So that must have been early, very early this year, I think. Those boards were done. So that's come out relatively quickly.
Mm.
But then also, not long ago, before I started working on Luther, I got another call from Robbie because he's directing season 5 or 7, I can't remember, season 7 of Slow Horses.
Oh wow.
So I did some work on that. So it was nice to work with Robbie, and he's such a quality director.
Mm.
He did a thing called Guilt a number of years ago,
Okay.
with Mark Bonar, the
Hmm.
a Scottish actor. If you
Oh
haven't
yes,
seen
I
it,
know. I know.
check
Yes,
it
I
out.
know it. Yeah, that is good.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's funny, it's one of those titles that doesn't really stick in your brain, but
no,
yeah, the
no,
actual series is really good.
yeah, that was Robbie. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
Got such a slick, sophisticated, just really nice style that he uses. So he'll be doing Slow Horses. So I look forward to seeing what he does on Slow Horses.
cool.
Yeah,
Well, okay. Well, look, great. I think a good, so I'm going to point just to wrap this one up.
yeah,
Exciting times to come for both of us, I think, and we're as we were telling our Patreon subscribers, we're going to endeavor to put our news out on the Patreon only section of the Rest is Giant Robots site, ahead of our social media, just to give people an extra bit of heads up.
yeah. We'll be dropping some stuff on there. So if you're not already on there, that's the easiest way to get to it is just to go to wildfur.net, or you can go patreon.com/wildfurproductions. But hey, whatever. We'll see you on there. Just take a look.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Andrew, great chatting as always.
Yeah,
And
good.
yeah, we will be back with episode 38 at some point soon.
Yeah, see you on 38. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to The Rest is Giant Robots. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider subscribing for more and maybe share with like-minded friends. This has been a Wildfur production.